Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be using the artistically inked stamp set again and the beautiful Expressions in Ink designer series paper, which is all kind of part of the main suite, and I'm trying to focus on using the designer series papers at the moment. So the previous video I used the pink pattern paper that's in this set, and in today's card I'm going to be using the big flower and the leaves, and I've already cut quite a few of the elements to save some time, and I'm going to be using the pale papaya paper. So this is the pale papaya and green with the gold in it. This paper's beautiful. One side of every sheet of this paper has got gold in it, and then the other sides are like flat colours. So I'm going to be using this one, and I'm going to be using the plain pale papaya, which has got the gold stripes on the other side. And as I say, I've cut all my elements. So I have got a piece of pale papaya cardstock, which was A4, which I cut in half. I've scored and folded. That's going to be my base card. Then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, which is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and that's going to be the first layer. And then this pattern paper is 3 5/8 by 5 3/8, and that's going to stick on there. So I'll do that bit first, and then that just gets this bit underway. And because I'm using the papers from the same pack, they will all go together no matter which sides I use. So this is going to stick flat on the front of the card. Like so. Then I've got a piece for the inside of the card, because obviously this is coloured cardstock. You could still write on this with it being light, but I am going to put a piece of white card on the inside. And then I've got these, which are going to be my next set of matting layers, and I've got some scrap to stamp my flowers and leaves, which I'm going to cut using the ScanNcut. So I'm using pale papaya ink. So I'm going to ink up this flower and just stamp it on here. And then I'm going to do the same on the bottom corner of the inside, but just going off the page. And I'm hoping that the ScanNcut will be able to pick up this design to fussy cut it for me. The green that's in this pack of designer series paper is Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to stamp my leaves in Pear Pizzazz. And I don't know how many leaves I'm going to need, but I'm going to stamp 2 sets for now. And then again, I've just got my Simply Chamois on the side. So I'm just cleaning my stamps as I go. So this can go on the inside of the card now. So that can be out of the way. So that's how we're looking so far. So just a little bit of interest when you open up the card. So I'm going to bring in my ScanNcut mat, and I'm just going to pop this piece of card down onto the mat, and then let's see if the ScanNcut can pick this up for me. I'm going to say scan, direct cut, save any scan temporarily into the memory of the machine, and start. And all of a sudden it's gone very, very dark, as if we're going to have a thunderstorm. So I've just had to put my lights on. So I'm going to try and avoid any glare now on the machine. So I'm going to drag in the arrows to isolate the area that I'm telling the machine I want it to try and pick up for me. I'm going to say OK and see what it recognises. Now, it might be that this pale papaya is not enough of a contrast on the white card for it to scan, but it seems to have done it and it's got the leaves, so that's good. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say I want an offset of 0.04, which is my preferred offset. You don't have to use one at all if you don't want. And I'm going to say OK, OK, wait for it to process, press start, and get the machine to do the fussy cutting for me. OK, that's finished. I'm going to say OK, unload the mat. And sure enough, it has just started raining. So here are my elements. So I've got my 2 sets of leaves. As I say, I don't know that I'm going to use both at the moment, but I thought I'd stamp 2, and I've got my flower. So I'm going to bring my card back in, and I'm going to bring this layer in, and I'm going to layer this designer series paper now to this piece of white cardstock. I could have used the stripes if I'd have wanted to, but I thought this nice muted pale papaya was quite nice, so I'm going to use that. I've got a piece of our 1/4 inch gold ribbon, so I'm going to just tie this around this layer and see if I can tie it in a bow or a knot, whatever I can do. Or I know you can't see me doing this, can you? I'm usually okay with tying bows and things, but I always struggle when I'm doing it live, or when I'm recording, I should say. Let's see if I can do this. This is not going to be that great, I don't think. Might just tie it in a knot, actually. Let's just try a knot. A knot might be better. Okay, so we're going to go for a knot. So I'm going to bring in my snips and just trim this down. It doesn't need to be too long because this is only a small piece of card. And then I'm just going to shuffle it over so it's towards the edge. And then my thinking is that I'm going to pop this up and then tuck the leaves in. So I'm going to bring in some of my big dimensionals. Let's just work out how this flower is going to go. So I'm going to put dimensionals just on the top and the bottom, and then that way it will go over the ribbon. So let's just pop that, and I can have it, you know, wherever I want it, or hanging off the edge. And then these, I'm thinking, do I want maybe both sets of leaves, or should I put one set there and one set there? Because this is going to sit on this card, and it isn't necessarily going to be centered. Or do I put some at the bottom like that? Might do it like that actually, top and bottom. And I'm just going to stick these down flat. So I'll use my Seal Plus for this, and I'll pop that one in there and pop this one in there like so. And then this is going to sit kind of just off center. And I'm going to pop this one up, I think, on dimensionals. So we'll put dimensionals in the corners, and I'll put one in the middle. This is going to sit kind of like this. And then in the stamp set, you've got hello, best wishes, thanks and happy birthday. So I think for this one, I might try happy birthday. And I've got some strips of paper here from when I was cutting up my layers. So I'm hoping that one of these will fit on here. So I think I was going to use Pale Papaya, but I think I'll use the Pear Pizzazz just to kind of bring in the green. So I'm just going to line this strip of card. I think it's about 1/2 inch deep, this, and about 3 inches from memory. I'm going to do it on my grid paper and try not to get my head in the shot, but I've just got to get over it. And I don't know if you can hear that rain, but that's obviously why it went very, very dark. So I'm just going to clean off the stamp, close the ink pad up because I'm bound to stick my fingers in it. And then this one, I think I might actually pop it over the middle of the flower. So it needs dimensionals on this side, and it's going to need a couple of layers because obviously this has been layered up, and then just kind of stick it down flat here. So I'm going to put one dimensional and then another on top. So that's going to give me the extra height, hopefully. And then a little bit of seal, if I can get it rolling, on this end. And then it will sit, might actually need another layer of dimensionals. Thinking about it, because I've got dimensionals on here and I've got dimensionals on here, so it might need an extra layer. But dimensionals are great, and they come in 2 sizes. I've got glue stuck to my finger now, and I might just trim this just as a little bit of an angle, just to make it look a bit different. And dimensionals are cheap enough, and you know, they are great to use on your projects. So that's just going to sit flat on there now. Another card made using the designer series paper and the stamps from the set, but really trying to focus more on the designer series paper. And then I think what I'll do, I'm just going to go over this flower with my Wink of Stella to give it a little bit of shimmer and shine, and it will dry and it will just have, it looks a bit kind of grey there now, but it should have a nice little shimmery shine on it when it's dry. So I hope you like that video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.